What's up, Tricology family? Welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. And for today's episode, we're doing something we ain't done in a while, and that's a table discussion. And today, we have a OG guest back on our show. You guys already know him. So please, everyone, please welcome back Daniel Martin. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you been?
Good. And yourself?
Pretty good. So what we're going to be discussing this time around, man?
So we got some interesting breaking news that just happened this week. So we already know that 2020 movies are like, they'd have been gone to streaming, onto PVOD, or just moved to the next year. So the latest and final 2020 movie has got its new update. So as we already know, Wonder Woman 1984, they had two scenarios. They were going to keep their Christmas release date or move it to June. So they decided to do something ordinary that's never been done before. So they're going to keep their Christmas release date, and not only will they release it in theaters, but also release it on HBO Max. This is something new and unprecedented that's not been done before. But hey, it's 2020. Something has to happen. So what are your thoughts on this on historical news?
Honestly, I'm kind of conflicted on the news, on this particular news. I see the pros and cons. Because I would say this is for 2020 in terms of movies. This is the last bastion of all the movies, of all the tentpole movies that we had. You know, Black Widow got moved to next year. Furious 8, 9 got moved to next year. You know, a bunch of these movies got moved into next year, or like you said, went to streaming services or on demand or whatever have you, like Mulan and Midway, for example, as well. Which went to Disney Plus and Apple TV respectively. But then you have this where it's going to both HBO Max but it's still going to be released in theaters on that same day, Christmas Day. Honestly, I feel, you already know how I feel. One of the first episodes I came here, I was talking about how I'd rather watch movies in theaters. So you already know what I think about that just in general. The fact that I'm still not completely comfortable with how the way the industry is moving as a whole as it is. I feel like just for me, it's just moving a little bit too fast, right? But I feel like this is very interesting because you can still go watch in theaters, of course, but then you can now watch it in the comfort of your home. I just feel conflicted because part of me loves that theater experience, right? But the other part of me, you know, we're at home, especially given the current situation with COVID still around. You know, it wasn't going to disappear on November 4th, like some people said, but that's besides the point. You know, now it's here on, you know, basically from the comfort of our homes, similar to, you know, Mulan, Hamilton, whatever have you. I don't know, I just find it really interesting. And to be honest, I will say this as well. I know that originally, Christmas Day wasn't the original release date, right?
It was supposed to come out June of this year. It was supposed to come out in June this year. Then it got moved to October, and then it got moved to Christmas Day.
Right. I find that day particular as well kind of weird for it to be released. And I just feel, because, you know, that's Christmas Day. You know, I feel like people are doing stuff with their families. I just find it kind of weird that they're gonna release it, especially with the theater stuff, that day, because I feel like, I mean, not many people are gonna go out in general to begin with because of like I said, the whole COVID situation. But I feel like because it's Christmas Day, even less people are willing to go out to theaters to go watch it. I guess that's where they decided to go for HBO as well. Now, what I did hear, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I heard that the HBO thing, that's only going to last like a month, right?
Yes, it will last a month. But here's another update. But in the international territories, like other countries, it's going to be released on December 16th before it released on the U.S. release, U.S. theaters, and also HBO Max as well. Because you see, HBO Max just came out a few months ago, and they only have it in only U.S. country. So it would make more sense of the people who don't have HBO Max in their countries to have it in their international theaters, where it would make sense. But here's another thing. This is why I think Wonder Woman 1984 was released on HBO Max, because ever since Disney Plus has reached at least like 73 million subscribers, they're close to like they try to reach Netflix. So this is a way of trying to get people to come over to buy a HBO Max and try to watch it if the people are not feeling comfortable going into the theaters and you just want to be around your couch with your families right for the holidays. So this is a good scenario for them to release it on HBO Max so everyone could see it from there. But again, like you mentioned, it's only going to be there for a month because they want to see how the numbers is, how well they do in the theaters because I think Warner Brothers and everybody else was watching how Tenet did when it came out in August. It wasn't not a numbers that they wanted, but at least they tried. They tried.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like Tenet I'll be honest, I feel like Tenet is a big influence in this decision, if I'm being completely honest. Because Tenet, it just in general would have been one of the biggest movies of this year, made by Christopher Nolan, has Robert Pattinson in it, who's going to be the new Batman. And it's, it's a sci-fi, it's a action sci-fi at its basic core. And I feel, honestly, I think like Tenet, they saw Tenet, how Tenet performed, and they're like, do we really want to risk it if Tenet, made by one of the most prolific, renowned directors of our time, can barely crack even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's to say that we can? I feel like they're kind of on similar pedestals. And I feel like that to a certain degree, they saw Tenet and how it performed, and they're like, what do we do with this now? Yeah, I feel like I have a big influence in it, in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, they're trying to get more people to subscribe to HBO Max. Because I mean, right now, we have the promise of the Snyder Cut, which is going to come out next year, but really HBO Max, and correct me here if I'm wrong as well, because I don't have HBO Max. I just know from word of mouth. But from what I understand, HBO Max, aside from like the general DC stuff, doesn't really have much. I know they have Lovecraft Country or something like that, and Emma, right? But
they have a lot of HBO Max is known for a lot of people watch HBO Max for movies, and then like when you go to Disney Plus, you see Star Wars, Marvel, and all the other Disney stuff on there. When you go to Netflix, you see a lot of bunch of libraries on there. But yeah, HBO Max is that type of streaming service. Like if you want to watch a movie, that's that place to go in there because they have a lot. Even though they have a lot of movies that's like from other different studios, that's like that you normally will watch on the regular HBO channel. So it would make sense because HBO Max does have a lot of content on there. They even got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on there. They got all the Adult Swim content, all the Warner Brothers and New Lines libraries, Studio Jubilee, all the DC, all that stuff. They got a lot of good content on there.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I just feel like even though they have all that, I still feel like they're still kind of lagging in terms of the how would you say, appeals department. Like not many people are. Also, part of it has to do with the fact that just HBO Max in general came out this year or is very new. So I feel people are still trying to feel it out. And I feel like having Wonder Woman there is a logical choice, and not just because it's from the same studio or associated studio, whatever have you. But I do feel like it will have a major effect on people getting subscriptions for HBO Max. So yeah.
So now with Wonder Woman 1984 coming out of HBO Max, now we got a friendly competition on our hands because Disney Pixar Soul is going to release on the same day on Disney Plus. So,
right.
But thank God they didn't do the premium access what they did.
Fuck that.
Because that was a stupid idea in the first.
That was dumb as shit.
And then a few months later, you're going to put it on Preview OD, which is more less or special, no matter if you rent it or buy it from there. I'm like,
right.
So they made the smart idea to just release it for free for those subscribers who already have Disney Plus. So
I think similar to Tenet, how they saw Tenet and how that performed. I think because Mulan was around the same time, within the same month or two, right? I think they saw Mulan, they saw what Disney did, and they're like, that failed miserably. Everybody complained about it. Screw that. We're definitely not going to do that. If we are going to sell it, so to speak, it's going to be in theaters, how they're doing it in theaters and HBO Max. And I mean, the theater, here's the funny thing, even going to a theater is cheaper than the $30 crap that they pulled off with Mulan, because an average ticket's like a matinee, which is probably how it is right now, given the current state of the world, is like $10 average. You know, get your popcorn, get a drink. That's another $5 to $10, depending on how what you want to get, and that's it. You know, that's $20, which is still less than 30, which is what we had to pay for Milan.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a dumb idea to begin with. Thank God they're not doing this with Soul, which is good. But now back to the with Soul and Wonder Woman 1984. So this begs the question: is everyone gonna be watching Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas Day, or everyone gonna be watching Soul on Disney Plus? So
I mean,
yeah,
they're both on streaming services. I feel like you could watch both of them if you have both HBO and Disney Plus. You could watch both of them on the same day. Do a double feature. I don't really. I know you just said competition. I know you just said competition, but I don't really see that as competition because of the way it is. If they're both in theaters, then yeah, that's definitely competition. But the way I see it, like that's like a double feature. You can do from your home. That's not really competition, in my opinion. That's like me pulling out two random DVDs for my collection. You know, like let's say I want to watch Rambo, Rocky. They're a double feature. It'd be the same thing. So Wonder Woman, double feature. For me, I don't really see that as a competition, because of the nature of it. You can have multiple streaming services. You can have Netflix, HBO, Peacock, Apple TV. You know, you could Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. You can have multiple. If you can only have one streaming services, then yes, that would be competition. But just because of the given nature of it, I don't see it as competition. I just see it. If you want, it could be a double feature. Simple as that.
The reason I say it is a friendly competition because for those that don't certain countries that don't have Disney Plus, because Soul is going to be released in theaters as well.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you that. And like and on an international scale, then yeah, it will be competition. But for me, I'm just thinking it from from a U.S. point of view, to be honest. And from my point of view, I don't like I said, I don't see it as competitions. It could be like a double feature. But that's just me. I understand that you're coming at it from a more international point of view, which makes sense. Which makes sense. And I guess in that regard, yes, there will be competition. But like I said, I already said my point of views. I don't see it as that much competition, especially since we're not going to be really able to see the numbers immediately. Like how many people went to go, like the box office numbers. You get me? I mean, I guess you can with a Wonder Woman, but like you can. That's kind of an unfair thing that you say. Oh, Wonder Woman made more box office than Soul, when Soul wasn't even released in theaters, or not as much theaters as Wonder Woman, because the international stuff.
Exactly. So while we touch it on this streaming service, because we got 2020 is done out of the way. Now we're looking towards to 2021. So I don't know if you heard the rumor about 007 No Time to Die, like Amazon and Netflix and Apple TV Plus was trying to buy it for like $600 million. But
I heard some.
But MGJ says no because they feel confident that they're gonna stick with their April release date because to be honest, MGM when it comes to like to movies, James Bond franchise is the only one that makes them money. If I'm being completely honest. So in nowadays, like going back to the studios, like for what's been going on this year, Universal and Paramount has been solely solid with putting their movies either on streaming or sell it to another company or sell it or put it on Preview OD. Like going into to Universal, they have the 17-day deal with AMC to release their movies for 17 days and then put it in on Premium Video D. Like it all started with, we all know it started with Trolls, like put it on Premium D, which was a success for them. And then they have other movies that was released on Premium D, and they had a good amount of numbers on iTunes where people would buy. I think the one good one I remember was the King of Staten Island. That was like number one for 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But also, they got to think of other movies that they might have to be willing to sacrifice to but not only keep putting it in theaters, but at the same time to put it on Preview Video D. And then for Paramount, they sold most of their movies to Amazon, like they like Coming to America too. that got moved to Amazon. Michael B. Jordan's up and coming movie, Without Remorse, that got moved to Amazon. And the new SpongeBob movie, that one got moved to Netflix, and it's showing in like international Netflix markets, not in the U.S. right now. So I think those two studios are very solid with their movies that like try to release it into streaming or premium VOD. Now with Disney, they're trying to focus more on streaming platforms because they try to focus more because they put 3 movies, which is a live action remake, off the theatrical schedule and put it on Disney Plus, which is Cruella starring Emma Stone, Pinocchio with Tom Hanks, and also the live action Peter Pan as well. And then going with Warner Brothers, like we mentioned, so they have a lot of movies on their list that come out in 2021. And I think someone put a prediction of which movies should go to their respective streaming service or just stay as a theatrical because they think that movie can make a lot of money in the box office. So in terms of that, with the streaming everything age starting to go around, is this the new era going on? Is movie theaters going extinct as we think it could be, or there's a way of trying to do both at the same time, which movie theaters are trying to do?
That's really, because I mean, like I said, like I don't want theaters, so to speak, to go extinct. I don't like I like theaters. That's the thing. Like I said, like I just feel like this is, for me at least, it's going a little bit too fast. Um, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we all knew that eventually theaters were going to go extinct. I just thought it was going to be a slower process. You get me? Um, as it stands now, I I really don't know what to make out of it because a part of a big chunk of this is a reaction to the whole COVID situation. Once COVID is done, so to speak, right? Um, I think that's when we're gonna really see what's gonna happen, like how the industry moves forward. Now, when the hell is that actually gonna happen? I would say maybe late next year, like literally maybe like next year, November next year, probably is when we're gonna
That's
see
my
some actual.
that's my
What?
prediction as well. That's my
Yeah,
prediction.
I don't think we're gonna see, because right now this is our reaction to what's going on. We don't really see the proper ramifications, effects of what happens until well after it has ended, and we're still in the middle of it. Um, I don't think we're gonna see all the results, all the ramifications of it till earliest, basically 2022, essentially. I don't, and that's at the earliest. It could be way later. So right now, it's still, since we're still in the middle of it, I would say it's still too early to tell, to say anything. Um, Again, my basic thoughts on it is that that's the way that the industry was going to go anyways, regardless. I just thought it was going to take a lot slower. But then we had a pandemic. Um, yeah, I mean, again, I don't really see, I can't really talk for the effects of it till basically next year, till we actually, and that's at the earliest, if possible. Um,
Let me
Again,
put it this way. Let's say you got a movie out coming next year. That no matter what studio it is, and let's say Netflix or Apple TV or Amazon give you $1 million deal to stream it on their platforms. Would you do it, or would you rather wait or delay it to a comfortable release date season?
I'm trying to think right here
You
because,
have to make that choice.
well, I'm trying to think because every time you're after back, because remember, I'm an indie filmmaker.
Yeah.
If any indie filmmaker would say go to streaming right off the bat. So because of that logic alone, I would say go to streaming just because I'm an indie filmmaker. If I was let's say Christopher Nolan, and then I had that choice, which I think would be more comparable in the situation. Um, Personally, I'd probably stick with my guns. This is just a personal thing for me. I'd stick with my guns and maybe see if I can release it in theaters. That being said, I'll still see the alternative, the streaming stuff, and see what happens. Um, Yeah, man, I'm trying to think of it as if I've already made it. I've already made it because, like I said, since hypothetically I haven't, or not even hypothetically, I just haven't, so to speak. Since I'm an indie filmmaker, any indie filmmaker probably wouldn't pass up that opportunity. Um, so you also have to think of that situation. But generally speaking, I'd say I'd stick with my guns, but I wouldn't. I'd still see what the other side has to offer. But
Okay.
that's just me.
Yeah, but here's another rumor. I don't, but don't tell anyone. We're not gonna spoil it. But I've been hearing rumors since Wonder Woman 1984 made the decision to go to HBO Max. There's a rumor that Black Widow might go to Disney Plus as well. Well, but now, general speaking, they plan to release it in theaters in May. But like I said, there's a rumor that it might go to Disney Plus in an April release. Like I just saw like a YouTube video. So do like someone leaked out the thing, but it could be real, it could be fake. Well, but I can tell you one thing: the Disney Plus executives are doing an investment day on December 10th. And what was on that video? Not to spoil anything, but they're trying to do a Disney Plus 18 plus and up section, like to show like rated R movies like the Deadpool 2, Logan, other like 20th Century Fox movies and all that other stuff. So, do you think that will be a good move on their point, or they should just keep their theatrical release date in May for Black Widow?
Um, as it stands now, if they do put it on Disney Plus, first off, don't do the shit they did with Mulan. That's for damn starters. Um, but as it stands now, I would hold it tentatively on that theater date, because from here to May, that's 5 months. Anything can change in those 5 months. I would hold it tentatively on that release date for theaters, but the closer we get, so let's say like by mid-March, let's say, is by around that point, they should probably start considering maybe put it on Disney Plus. And then as for the 18 and up section for the Disney Plus section thing, sure, sounds fine by me. Good to have some rated R movies on Disney Plus. I mean, the more movies, the better. So yeah, Deadpool 2 is a good movie too. So why not?
And then another studio I didn't get to mention that's the Sony movies. So there's been the one last Sony picture movie that I saw that in premiere VOD was the Craft Legacy, that was dumb.
Yeah, don't remind me.
But
Wait.
yeah, but
Right here, very fast. I have the movie right here. I literally bought it for Halloween because
that's the original.
Yeah, that's the original. I bought it for Halloween because I wanted to watch it because I haven't seen it in a long time. Found it on Amazon for like $5, give or take. With basically, I'm like, and then I found out that the sequel was coming. I'm like, why? I still watched it, and I'm like, why? Basically, why? No need a sequel, remake, whatever the fuck that shit was. Sequel, reboot, whatever the hell that was to The Craft. Leave The Craft alone, okay? Basically.
Exactly. So back to the Sony movies. The only one Sony movie that got moved to a streaming service was the Greyhound movie with Tom Hanks, and that got moved to Apple TV Plus.
Right.
They had one streaming service with Sony, and that was Crackle, and that it was that really it's one of those free apps, but not really that popular. If like
right.
you're not trying to spend no money on the other premium streaming service on there, but they moved a lot of their movies to 2021 in the beginning of it, like during the summer. Like there was nothing coming out. So that comes the point of which movies can they sacrifice to put it on pre-VOD and which ones they can keep on there, because they're the only ones that don't have a streaming service at this point. Only Universal does, Warner Brothers does, and Disney Plus does. Like I mentioned, Paramount, they have a good relationship with Amazon, and so that's out of the hand. But
right.
Sony, they had to figure out what they're gonna do. Like I saw a list of upcoming movies for Sony. I was like, there's so many movies they can put that on Premium OD or just sell it to Apple TV Plus on there.
Like which movies? What movies do they have on the list?
I think the new Ghostbusters, I think they could keep on there. The new Morpheus with Jared Leto, Peter Rabbit 2. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of bunch of ones. I have on my list here if I can find it. If I can find it. Here. Oh, wait, that's not it.
Who owns Peacock?
Universal.
Okay.
But I think, like I mentioned, Universal is doing fine with their 17-day window, and
Right.
Warner Brothers is trying to do the same thing, but it's they haven't made an actual deal yet with that. But I think that there's some of their movies, upcoming movies that they can put out on HBO Max as well to try to get more subscribers onto there. I think that would be a smart move for them. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to Sony, so since they don't have a reliable streaming service at this point, they have to read some of their movies on Premium VOD or Apple TV Plus. So that would be a good scenario.
I can see that. Yeah, because they need to get those movies out some way. VOD streaming is the way to go from it seems now. Yeah, I mean, then you link up with somebody and just release it, Apple TV or VOD, Disney Plus, Netflix, whatever.
Because I can tell you one thing: the longer they hold these movies, all the studio's going to be losing money at this point. I mean, I know they want to. I know they want to try to save it to try to save the movie theaters or like trying to get the box office numbers, but it comes a time at this point, like, until we get this vaccine and everything else, you gotta do what you gotta do, and like even if you had to sacrifice at this point, like whoa, like what can you do? I mean, Disney's on a good track. Like I mentioned, Disney Plus is on track right now. Just try to focus on streaming at this point. Universal is doing good. With the 17 window deal, what they're going right now. Paramount is going good. Has a good relationship with Amazon. I think Warner Brothers is on track right now to try to release some of their movies on HBO Max. What they're doing, so it comes a matter of just try to do the smart thing until everything is back to normal. Just try to sacrifice some of your movie at this point because you don't want to leave them hanging out there at this point, because there was at one point the new Mortal Kombat movie that got released indefinitely because they say they're not going to put out a release date saying until the movie theaters are back open. I'm like, by the time that happens, y'all going to probably release it by the end of 2021 or 2022.
Is a Mortal Kombat movie? That's my first question.
Yeah.
I did not hear about that one.
Yeah, but this new one is produced by James Wan.
Really interesting. Never really played the game, so okay, but I didn't even know there was a movie going to be made. But okay, for a movie like that they could probably release that one like on VOD, streaming, whatever. Yeah.
There was like, nope, we are definitely delaying this indefinitely until all movie theaters are open.
That movie better be damn good then, because we all know how the last Mortal Kombat movies turned out.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, the first one's cheesy fun, and the second one we don't talk about. Yeah. Like the first one's a guilty pleasure, but I think we could all recognize the fact that it's just bad. But it's a guilty pleasure. Second one should have never been made. So and if they're holding out on this one better be damn good. Better get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and all this. Better win an Oscar or some shit like that, because then I don't know what the hell you guys are holding off to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the last good Mortal Kombat movie that was there was Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. And that was animated, but it was still a good one at this point. That was a good one.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, but that's our news for today. Let us know in the comment section what you're going to be watching on Christmas Day. Are you going to be watching Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max? Are you going to be watching Disney Plus Soul on Disney Plus? Or are you going to be watching both on that day?
Double feature. What I'm probably going to end up doing.
Yeah, I think that's a double feature. And also let us know in the comment section which upcoming movies in 2021 do you think that should be sacrificed into going into a streaming service or premium VOD, or which ones should stay in theaters for their box office numbers. But
Sure.
yeah. And don't
2021 is going to be stacked with movies.
Yeah.
2021 is going to be stacked with movies. All the movies from this year, they were supposed to come out this year, plus all the movies that were going to come out next year anyways. Next year's going to be stacked.
Oh yeah.
I can see movies being pushed back and put to like I can see movies from 2021 that are going to be released in 2021, regardless if they were supposed to come out this year or next year. I can see movies from 2021 being pushed back into 2022, to be honest. I can see that happening.
But that gonna be even more stat. It depends on
Well, it depends, because I feel like most of the movies that were going to be produced or being made for 2022 would have been filming around this time. You know what I mean? So probably wouldn't. I think it would still be stacked. I don't think it would be as stacked as you probably think, though. That's the one thing I'll say.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget to like this video, comment down below everything that we discussed, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when new episode upload. And also don't forget to follow Daniel on his social media. I'll leave that in the description box.
Mart Daniel 1234. Check me out.
And other than that, he's Daniel and I'm Trico, and we're signing off.
Bye.